Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of Beyond Stuff's another throwback show here on the Beyond Stuff channel. My name is Bryan, and I'm here joined by Luis Vasquez. How are you doing, Luis?
I'm doing great. I am glad that in Home Depot they're still giving me hours of work. For example, this week I've been given 40 hours of work, which is surprising since they have extended the 7 p.m. curfew until June the 15th. So I'm glad for that.
Well, things are slowly opening up. Well, I'm still not working. I'm just working by myself, improving the studio. I bought a mixer, but the mixer doesn't have the USB cable, so I won't be using this bad boy here for a little bit. But we're not here to talk about toys. Instead, we're here to talk about Blade Runner. We're gonna talk about both movies, Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. But let's talk about the first one, Blade Runner from 1982, directed by Ridley Scott. It follows Agent Decker, and he is a ex-policeman turned Blade Runner, and his mission is to retire replicants
Retire.
replicants. Now, what do you think about this sci-fi cult classic?
I consider one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made because it's a movie that questions what is human and our role as humans as God, because we created this technology, computers, internet, androids, iPhones, cyborgs, robots, all this type of stuff, and it makes you wonder: can robots feel as humans do? Can they feel anger, shame, guilt? Can they cry? Can they love? Can they make love? And these two movies expertly, analyzes the dimensions of what it means to be a human. And I really love the plot of him trying to figure out, what's going on, where are the missing replicants, as he slowly, falls in love for the female android. I think the love story was well developed, but what I really love about this movie is two things: the style and the music. The style, the look, the feel of the movie, the use of lights, camera shots as he's going through his car throughout the city. I think it was fantastic, and the music, I can listen it all day long because it's so euphoric. It's sort of like your mate and you're trying to connect with the universe. I think it's a technical achievement.
Yeah, I think when it comes to this cyberpunkish aesthetic of sorts, I think this movie is the way to go. I think people. I think that the reason why it's a cult classic because of course the first movie flopped budget box office wise. But it's not because it's a bad movie. It's not. On the contrary, it's a very solid movie. But when you see Harrison Ford as the poster child of this movie in a science fiction futuristic world, you expect it to be like this action packed film. When it's really not, it's more of a study of this world, what it is to be human, and all that sorts of deep themes. The music of Blade Runner by Vangelis, if I'm correct, is fantastic. Uh, I'm not gonna say that it's my favorite movie because I'm more of a action junkie myself. Though I appreciate what Blade Runner did. I saw it back when in my early days studying film, and I remember people hyping it up. And when I saw the poster of Blade Runner, I thought, oh, this I think this is gonna be this. I hope there's a lot of action, like futuristic action, laser guns, and all that sort. But I'm not gonna say I was disappointed because I get it. I get it why throughout all these years this movie has been like one of the strongest movies in sci-fi history because this sci-fi movies is not only about the action and the aesthetics of the world but about exploring the things of what makes a human and I like it. Not my favorite movie per se, but I like it. I think it's good enough. But you know what? I love the sequel more, Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve. And this one was a little bit more, I'm not gonna say action packed because it's just as strong with the themes of the first one, but I think it's a little bit more active. You know, when it comes to action and how the story moves throughout the movie. It is long; it's nearly 3 hours long, but I think this is a mass. Denis Villeneuve improved upon what Ridley Scott did with the first movie. And I think Blade Runner 2049 features the strongest cast, stronger than the first one. You have people like Robin Wright. You have people like Anna de Armas, which is
Ana de
Anna de
Armas.
Armas. She blew up with this one, but I love her on Nice Out. And and when I saw this 20 Blade Runner 2049, I get why Ben Affleck fell in love with that woman. I mean, she is gorgeous, and I like the visual aids of her being like this artificial intelligence being. The scene where she tries to sync in with the other woman that where Agent K uh, goes with when they're syncing. I really love that visual aspect, and I was crushed when I saw her on the last time, because the last time we see Ana de Armas in Blade Runner 2049 is that famous big image of her with the pinkish and blue and the
Yeah,
blue wig. And I remember seeing that image and being blown away by how great it looks. I think one of the strongest things about Blade Runner 2049 is how well shot it is. I think it's almost a crime that this Blade Runner 2049 underperformed in the box office.
yeah. At least here in Puerto Rico, the main reason why it didn't perform well is because of Hurricane Maria.
Yeah.
It was like it came out like a month after, but still, I was able to see it in the movie theaters, and it's, if I wasn't jobless looking for a job because of what happened after Hurricane Maria, I will watch it at least 3 times, because watching that movie on the big screen, I think in 2017 after Hurricane Maria, I only watched two movies on the big theater: Blade Runner 2049 and The Last Jedi. Those were the only two movies I saw on the screen
Two
because
great
I'm a
movies.
huge Blade Runner fan and Star Wars fan.
I
Yeah, yeah,
did
yeah,
you end
yeah.
up
But
watching 2049 on IMAX? Because I didn't.
no, okay. It's that the thing is, at least for me, the IMAX that they have here, it makes me motion
Mm.
sickness. I don't know why. Maybe because the screen is too huge. And I saw two movies, Warcraft. Then I watched Dunker. And even though I love Christopher Nolan, and I love Dunker, I got out extremely dizzy. With a huge headache,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know what? Last time I'm gonna watch IMAX, I prefer
No,
4DX.
I
So
love
no,
watching movies on IMAX whenever I get the chance. I tried to watch Rise of Skywalker on IMAX. Good thing I didn't, but I'm very sad that I had to miss Blade Runner 2049 when it came out, because back we had the Hero K Maria situation. I was in the middle of a movie, so the only theater that I was close to was the Caguas one, and Caguas doesn't have the IMAX theater. But seeing this movie on HD on my TV screen was something else, because I love the visuals of this movie, and it's the strongest Blade Runner of the two Blade Runner movies that we've had. I'm usually not a big Ryan Gosling guy. I really love him in here, but sometimes his expressions takes me out of the movie. But come on, express a little bit more, God, dude. Everyone else around him worked amazingly. Even Harrison Ford, because the older Harrison Ford has gotten, I feel like he's just phoning in every performance he gets. And I think this one was Blade Runner 2049 was his better performance recently, even better than Force Awakens in my opinion. Uh,
I agree. I agree.
and I don't think Vangelis came back for to score this film,
No, it was Hans Zimmer.
and he captured the essence of Blade Runner and Vangelis style greatly. That's one of the first thing that I because I already heard. Oh no, but Gillis didn't come back for this one. Okay, then I hope the music stays true to the Blade Runner story, and it's fantastic. I think this is one of the
Yeah,
movies that I see how much people love it, but I just wish people loved it even more by showing up to the
same
theaters.
thing here. Yes, if you love a movie, just freaking show that, and that's sort of the reason why I bought both movies on Blu-ray in order to support the franchise. Because if it's really loved by so many people, why people don't show up at the movie theater? It's like it doesn't make
and
sense. But for me,
And it's a story of a lot of
but
cult classic movies. Both Blade Runners, and one of my favorite movies of Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim versus the World is also a cult classic that people didn't go to see in the movies. I think if people really love the artistry, example, Danny Villeneuve has made other movies like Arrival and Sicario, and they didn't show up for this one. That's why when they announced Danny Villeneuve making the Dune movie, which I'm not familiar with Dune at all, but the concept arts that I see for this movie, I see it as just as expensive as Blade Runner. It makes me worry that hopefully people come to see this one. Maybe people are not smart enough to get Blade Runner. That's why they didn't show up.
yeah, for me personally, I enjoyed the first one a little bit more than the second one for the following things. I noticed in the second one a minor flaw in which, as you know, at the beginning, Ryan Gosling's character takes like the eye interview of the female replicant of the
Yeah,
first film, and you have this character, the villain of 2049, this egomaniac perfectionist, and one of the scenes, he makes like another android of the replicant trying to, seduce
Decker. Yeah,
Harrison Ford, a Deckard, and Deckard goes, "Oh, her eyes were green," and I'm like, "Wait, so this guy who is a perfectionist, egotistic god, and he got confused with the color of the eyes, which clearly, you got a articulation of the eyes. Like to me, that didn't make sense. Also, um, I know there's no such thing as an original story. It's impossible to make a story that's 100%
yeah.
original. But I did notice that the plot of Blade Runner 2049 was similar to The Force Awakens because both movies is basically the search of this character who plays like a key role between the conflict of two sides. And once they find the character, the movie ends. I don't know if you noticed the
No, no, no.
similarities.
I absolutely get it because, well, but unlike Force Awakens, it doesn't just end. I think we spend like a decent amount of time with Harrison Ford's Decker. Uh, I
Yeah,
would have loved to see more of Decker, but it's Harrison Ford. I think the less the better because I don't he's fine in his latest years. That's why I'm a little bit worried about Indiana Jones too, because Harrison Ford's uh, he's phones it in. And this is his best performance in years, but still, I wasn't bothered by not seeing Harrison Ford too much in the movie. Again, being back into that Blade Runner world, seeing how wonderful it looks. And even though I'm not really a big Ryan Gosling fan, everybody around him was fantastic. Anna de Armas, Robin Wright, whatever. So I didn't miss him, and I think they used him the right amount of time. I would have been bothered if they did pull off a another Force Awakens and they just show up Harrison Ford at the end, and then finding out that they
yeah,
were planning a sequel for this one when this movie flopped. So I would have been much more bothered with this movie if that was the case. Imagine that if they pull off a Force Awakens, they decide to show up, to show off Harrison Ford at the very end of the movie, and then end, and then find out, hey, there's no sequel because this movie flopped. I would have been mad as hell. So for
Yeah.
what I got in Blade Runner 2049, uh, I appreciate what I got. So I'm gonna let's before we go, let's give each of these movies a rating. I'm gonna give uh, the original Blade Runner a 3 because again, I appreciate the movie. I don't hate the movie. I think for my liking, I think it was a little bit too slow, but I like it regardless. And Blade Runner 2049, I'm gonna give. I will give it a 5 because Ana de Armas, but I'm gonna give it a 4. To be realistic. But if I was gonna vote only for Ana de Armas, 5 out of 5. Okay.
Marvel. For me, the original, I original Blade Runner, I freaking loved it. I enjoyed it. I seriously have no complaints. So, Blade Runner, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
The sequel, Blade Runner 2049, I do consider it, one of the greatest, not only one of the greatest sci-fi sequels, but one of the greatest sequels of all time. Still, I don't think it's great as the original, as with the things I said. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
I get it. These two are good movies, so nothing bad at all about these two movies. For those
Yeah.
people who don't know about Blade Runner, uh, don't see it don't see it as a action packed film. Just see it as a world study, and because that's what it is. And I think people would enjoy it better if they see it that way. So this is it for today. Where can the guys find you, Luis?
You can follow me on Instagram on the hashtag Luis and Death Folder.
And they can find me, of course, at Twitter at It's the One Nerd, at Instagram at Beyond underscore Beyond the Pictures. Well, this is it, guys. If you have any other movies that you want us to talk about next, let us know in the comment sections down below, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. See ya.